when we talk to our clients, many are viewing tariffs as punitive, potentially protectionist, and driving several economies into recession. This sounds like that we could actually have a positive case scenario with these tariffs, one that's either mutually agreed upon or if it's reciprocal, but maybe a good deal for businesses. And I think it would set the stage for a much bigger recovery rally than we expect.
Tom Lee, finding bull runs out of chaos, and you know what? He might be right. Look, trade wars aren't good for anyone, and we may get sweeping deals before that April 2nd deadline. And if that happens, the stock market's going to go parabolic, and the crypto market is going to go nuclear. We'll have to see it play out, but I think Tom Lee might be onto something. I think that's the next big springboard we're waiting for. And remember, markets are going to front run that event. So you can't sit back and wait to see how it plays out and think you're going to get these prices. If it goes our way, man, it's going to be too late by the time we hit April 2nd, just around the corner. Let's see how that plays out. Now, let's talk about Ripple. A lot of people agitated, and I understand it. You had the SEC drop that appeal, and the price of XRP, it didn't go ripping and gunning like most people would want. This is to be expected to some extent, though. We've been through this game before. Remember when Ripple won that court case and Judge Torres put out that just beautiful ruling? One of the greatest rulings in the history of the world. And XRP, yes, it went up quite a bit, but it came right back down. And we were waffling about it 50 cents, and it seemed like it didn't matter. But it cleared the way for XRP to be relisted on US exchanges. It cleared the way for XRP to be listed on new exchanges, like Robinhood and such. And eventually, it made a big difference. We saw at a time right now where altcoins aren't doing a lot. XRP put on sustainable growth, went up above $3, and we yet have went under 2. When the whole market's in the dumps, Ethereum is melting to nothing. That paid dividends. That made a difference. Not on the day the ruling, came out, but over the long haul, you best believe it mattered. And I think we're going to see the same thing here. Let's look at this post I put up today. SEC, Ripple retreat. What comes next for XRP? So Ripple, they're saying, the SEC has dropped their appeal. This is going to open the door for an XRP ETF to be approved. If you have an active appeal, that would be a tough one. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it'd be tough to approve an XRP ETF if the SEC is still suing Ripple. Clears the way. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen this year. That's going to be a big event. Big money from massive investors that aren't going to take on the risk of an active SEC enforcement case. They're going to be able to invest now, and they will. And then probably the most important one is real-world adoption of payments, RWA systems, institutional DeFi. Like if you have an active court case going on, that's toxic. A lot of these companies are not going to spend millions and millions of dollars to build their systems on top of this technology that has regulatory issues. That goes away. It clears the way. Now they can jump in here. Now, this is the thing. None of that stuff I said happens the moment that announcement is made. This takes a little bit of time here. And we're going to have to wait until this market turns a little bit more bullish. And we're in a phase where crypto's going up. XRP is going to go up, but a lot faster. And that's what really matters. This is not an overnight thing. But if the market turns bullish, it sure can be. And, I think the most important thing is we're also waiting for an official statement from the SEC. We all know it's true. But like that institutional investor said on Bloomberg the other day, especially when it comes to crypto, and there's a lot of ambiguity. 99.99% isn't good enough. We need certainty. So that's going to make a difference as well when the SEC puts out that official statement. It's coming. It's just a matter of time here. The path for XRP has never looked more open. That's a big deal what we saw happen. Don't be fooled. Don't let anyone tell you it wasn't. It's just going to be like XRP going from 50 cents above $3, but our launch pad now is much higher. And only time will tell how high we go. Now, this is interesting. We had this roundtable today with the SEC, and they're saying, look, we're now earnestly seeking a workable crypto framework here. And what I would tell you is this. I don't live in a marshmallow house. I understand how this is going to be. They're going to do stuff we don't like. When Congress eventually rolls out regulations, there's going to be things in there we don't like, but this is a workable solution. This is one where entrepreneurs can work within the guidelines and be able to build the future. And that's what matters. It's not the perfect setup, but it'll work. And we see in this post, after years of hostility, the SEC is finally talking with the crypto industry. They're not just in secret scheming. I mean, they're out here in the public. They're talking with the industry. They're trying to figure out frameworks. And that alone is massive here. NFTs are next in line to get some guidance. And the roundtable, it just marks a shift in their approach to enforcement here. It's not the I gotcha behind the curtain, just attacking. It's having an honest discussion. And again, I don't expect to like everything they put out. Crypto will always be adversarial with governments. That's its purpose. Digital asset investor posting this. RippleX, Ripple and Ondo Finance are bringing tokenized US treasuries to the XRP ledger. 24/7 minting and redemption using RLUSD, unmatched liquidity, and institutional grade security. So this is really where blockchain will take, a traditional kind of market infrastructure like treasuries, where there's a lot of demand, but it makes it that much better. 24/7 market here, right? You can mint, redeem, you have instant liquidity, you can cash out and receive RLUSD that can be spent instantly. There's no settlement, there's no clearing. This is a better system. We're already seeing BlackRock have success with their BUIDL platform, tokenized treasuries on the Ethereum blockchain, and this is going to be a popular product, I believe, as well. Mario saying right now only 44% of respondents are bullish on crypto AI token prices. That's one I still say that's going to be a big one this year. Now, AI, it's had some crazy stuff to start the year, right? You had China kind of shocking the US market, a lot of fear there, questions. Is that AI spend going to continue? I think 2025 is going to be a massive year for AI. It's going to be a massive year for crypto. Don't sleep on that sector. It's going to be a big one before it's all said and done. Thinking Crypto, Tony, he's going to be doing an interview next week with Jasmine Cooper of Ripple, really knowledgeable developer with deep knowledge of institutional DeFi systems and where they want to take that with the XRP ledger. Tony's one of the world-class interviewers out there, gets great guests. I'm going to be watching that. I hope you will too. If you're not subscribed, I'm sure you are. Make sure you subscribe to Tony and get ready for that interview. That'll be a big one. The Chinese Communist Party media, they published a key article highlighting the following in crypto. And this is the thing. It's all about those difficult markets, the US, China, and India. They've been very confrontational versus crypto in the past, but they will capitulate and they will have to adopt this technology or be left behind. There is no stopping innovation here. They said the following: Bitcoin is too volatile to be a currency, but has investment value. The dollar stablecoin could boost the US dominance in global finance. Of course, they will want to counter that with their own systems. And this is the thing, where are stablecoins popular? On open and decentralized networks that aren't controlled by the US government, or in this case by the Chinese government. They'll have to mint on public blockchains if they want the same success. It'll help the yuan, right? It will help the yuan in reach and liquidity and total daily volume, and someone will buy their debt. It's a big deal, but at the same time, and this is kind of the Trojan horse of it, that while they're doing that, they're also supporting the decentralized ecosystems. There's more liquidity on chain, and you can use that stablecoin to come into and out of, real digital assets like XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum. So it's like they have to adopt it. For them, there's a negative side. They lose more control, but the positive that they can't pass up on is, well, buyers of their treasuries, buyers of their debt, and expanding their fiat currency throughout the globe. That's a big deal. And even though they might not want to give more control, more power, more value to public blockchains, they got to do it. That's what's exciting. They believe token adoption can strengthen the yuan's global role, which they want, which they need. And risk is key to countering dollar stablecoins. So they also have to counter the US's big move here into stablecoins. We're going to get a stablecoin bill this year. They're not doing it because they like decentralized technology. The US is doing this because they want people, again, to buy their debt, to be able to zip those dollars into all sorts of territories and have people holding them and using them and trade and purchasing and all this kind of stuff. It's a big deal, And whether we like every aspect of it or not, or whether the government does, they have no choice. And this is why we win. It's not because all of a sudden they wake up and they like cryptocurrencies. Now, this is an interesting report by Grayscale talking about Ethereum, saying its greatest strength is now its biggest weakness. It goes on to say Ethereum dominates DeFi, NFTs, smart contracts. It's secure, battle-tested, foundation of Web3. Well, what's the problem here? The price is melting. It's just awful. But they say the dominance comes at a cost. It can't move fast. Every change, well, it takes years. Too much at stake, billions in value, thousands of dApps. One wrong move could break everything. Now, some of that is true. When you're dealing with the type of value they are, you have to be more careful. But I don't think that's all it is. Some of that comes with infrastructure and how the base was built up and how you can build from there. Could be some problems in design from the early days they have to work around, fix. And again, I've talked about this too many times to go in depth again, but that was a big deal with Google and why they just steamrolled Yahoo, because Yahoo didn't have as much thought early on in their design. Meanwhile, new chains, faster, more agile, and willing to take risks that Ethereum can't. Ethereum didn't fall behind. It became the system it was built to replace. I think there's some truth here. I think it's a little bit overboard as well. In crypto, sometimes you're up and sometimes you'll be in the doghouse, but as long as you have long-term and sustainable value, that pendulum will go back to you. And that's going to happen, I believe, with Ethereum. It'll have a big run before this is all said and done. And that's what BlackRock thinks. BlackRock's saying, you know what? Staking could rescue Ethereum ETFs. This has been awful here. Ethereum is struggling, down 43% year to date, and facing the worst Q1 since launch. It's the worst quarter we've seen. But they're saying, look, one of the things holding it back, staking. We need staking in those ETFs. And that's going to be popular with investors getting quarterly or monthly dividends, paid in more crypto. They're going to love it. And this is going to be for other also proof of stake coins as well. You're going to have a lot of products within crypto that roll out, and you'll see people piling into those. Right now, if you buy the Ethereum ETF, it's not just those fees, because the fees aren't bad, but you're giving up your staking rewards. That's a problem. That makes it almost a no-go. They can fix this. Well, I think we'll see more inflows come into Ethereum as we go forward. Again, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some real problems with Ethereum, just like at times there have been problems with XRP, but it'll heat up here at some point in time. And whether you hold some in your investment portfolio or not, you want to see your major cryptos doing well, because this market runs in unison in a lot of ways. And it's just going to make things easier, give us more runway for all of our other investments to do very well. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.